Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's a scary day. We're gonna be talking about the books that I am scared to read. And I am scared. My arms are hurting because this is really heavy. Not a gym influencer, just a booktuber. I have my little handy dandy notebook here, so I think we should just hop right into the video. I feel so official with this. Starting off, I would argue extremely strong, or maybe not strong. I guess you could look at it both ways. This massive Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. So there's plenty of reasons why I'm scared to read this. But one of them is the pure size of it. I've never read a book that's more than 1,000 pages. I don't think I've read a book more than like 800 pages maybe. I'm intimidated, to say the least. For those of you who don't know, this is the final book in the Throne of Glass series. Our female main character, Aelin, is trying to save the world from this like darkness, I guess you could say. To be very broad and not spoil anything. That is another one of the reasons I'm scared to read this. It's 8 books long and they're all pretty big. Ending it is just gonna feel like surreal. I have no idea what direction we're going in, and since it is 1,000 pages, I feel like we could go in any direction. We could go in multiple directions. We could go in every direction. So that stresses me out. And I've been putting off finishing Tower of Dawn and Empire of Storms, like I'm tandem reading, because I'm scared to start this. And it's also going to take me like 1,700 gazillion years because I'm a grad student and I work and I do content creation. Maybe you'll see this review in 2027. Just kidding. But whew, that's a scary one. The next book I'm terrified to read, Releasing 10 by Chloe Walsh. This is the final book so far in the Boys of Tommen series. I believe it can be read as a standalone, but like don't do that unless you hate yourself. So this follows Lizzie and Huey. Lizzie has a really dark past. There's intense mental health struggles in this, explicit sexual assault scenes, just a lot of hard to swallow concepts. From my understanding, that is the point, so that you can kind of really understand what Lizzie Young went through and more connect with her as a character and see why she is the way she is. But I'm still scared for it. Again, this is not a spoiler, but I don't believe there's a happy ending in this one yet. Usually how Chloe Walsh's books work is it's like almost like trauma dump in the first book, and then the second book is like, oh, they're happy ever after. And this was only the first Lizzie and Huey book. She's said, or at least hinted, there's gonna be another Lizzie and Huey book. So I'm assuming she's gonna get her happy ever after. I don't think they're just gonna like have all this about her and then not have the happy ever after. I'm personally waiting to read this until the other part of their story comes out, so maybe I can tandem read, or at least know I'm not gonna end on like a sad note. Next up we have Jane Eyre. I think this copy is just so beautiful. I got it at an indie bookstore in New York. I haven't read very many classics, which is something I'm working on. I'm honestly intimidated by them. I told the girl in the bookstore this, and she said the classic to start with that's a step up from like The Great Gatsby is Jane Eyre. She said there's a lot of dialogue and romantic elements, and it's just much more digestible than her other books like Wuthering Heights that are a little bit harder to read. This is about an orphan who grows up being not wanted and just unseen. It follows through her rough childhood into adulthood. She eventually gets a job at a large estate where there's like a broody, mysterious master of the house. So this is definitely on my list for 2026. I'm a librarian and I went to a job interview in the fall, and one of the questions was, what's your favorite classic? And I just did not see that coming. I should have seen that coming, but I didn't. I honestly just said I haven't read very many classics and it's something I'm working on. But as a reader, I feel like it's important that we read classics and diversify our reading, and sometimes read books that aren't necessarily in our comfort zone but will help us grow intellectually. This feels like a ridiculous book to be afraid to read, but Normal People by Sally Rooney. This has been marinating on my bookshelf, I want to say for years, like multiple years. I'm so intimidated by it. It is so tiny. I think that's part of the thing that gets me. I love an emotional, character-driven story. And how will that all fit into this little guy? I need to stop setting high expectations for books. I try my best not to watch TV or film adaptations before I read the books, so I haven't seen the Normal People series, and I definitely want to read the book first, especially because it's just like so tiny. It'll be a quick read. I'm obsessed with the Paul and Daisy drama, or lore, I guess you could say. Like, all those videos on TikTok and everything of him taking his hand off Phoebe Bridgers, who he was dating at the time, and holding on to Daisy still, and the picture in his house of him and Daisy framed when he's dating Gracie Abrams, like that situation lives rent-free in my house. That situation lives rent-free in my head. More Daisy and Paul is exactly what I need in this situation. But back to the book. This is about an on-again, off-again relationship, and I believe it also follows through childhood. I love a messy story. It's my vibe. One day I'll pick this up. I don't know when, but one day. I feel like this is another kind of random book that I'm afraid of. But Mate by Ali Hazelwood. Bride is one of my favorite books of all time. Like if Fable did the top 4 like letterboxed, Mate would be in mine. No bride slander around here. We don't do that around here. I'm just kidding. If you're entitled to your own opinion. But mine is that I loved Bride. And so Mate is the sequel to Bride. I believe they're both just like interconnected standalones technically, but Bride is about a paranormal arranged marriage between a vampire and a werewolf, and the arranged marriage is to keep peace between their species. The main character, Misery, who's the vampire, this book is about her best friend. I can't say much more than that because it'll give away Bride, which I would definitely read first if you're going to read Mate. But again, with the high expectations, I have such high expectations for this because I loved Bride, and I don't want this to ruin Bride for me. Not necessarily ruin, but like rework how much I loved Bride. I don't want to find out new information about Bride that I didn't know before because I was so happy with it, so happy with the ending. I just want to move on. So I'm definitely nervous for this. I hope I love it. I really do. This will probably be a fall read or like summerween, like August. The last book that I'm scared of is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. This is about 2 sisters, and it's set in German-occupied France during World War II. And the 2 sisters are very different and like have very different life paths. One of my favorite books of all time is Firefly Lane by Kristen Hanna. Okay, so this is obviously historical fiction. And for some reason, I associate historical fiction with like history in high school and middle school. I don't know why I do that, but I didn't love history like as a subject, so I don't know why I automatically am like, no, I won't like historical fiction. But then every single time I read a historical fiction, I give it 5 stars. I need to differentiate them in my brain. For the 100th time in this video, I love an emotional read, and the fact that this is set in very, very important history really intrigues me. She's also a pretty big book, like almost 600 pages, so that's intimidating as well. I need to be in the right space and like have enough brain power to read Kristen Hanna books because they're not slow, but they're definitely not page turners. That's just not how they're made to be. So it takes me time to be like, okay, I have to focus, and I'm not always in the mood or have the time to do that, especially being a grad student. Reading research for hours and hours and then reading historical fiction novel isn't always the vibe right after school. So I feel like this will probably be more of a summer book when I'm only taking 2 classes. But I love Kristen Hanna, but a little bit nervous. Let me know if you're afraid to read any of the books I just shared, or maybe let me know why I shouldn't be afraid to read any of the books I just shared. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Make sure to like, subscribe, all that, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.